Hello Utopians and fellow hobbyists! Welcome to another Saturday morning show. Well, today we start the 2021 Red Rod group build from, it's hosted by Beach Bum's Model Garage. You might check him out. I might leave a link below here in the description box. Well, it's all about the red rods. I love red rods and it's gonna be really awesome today. First, we're gonna build a V16 engine, and we scratch builded it, make resin parts, resin copies out of it, but you see later on. And I also use this time, the first time, our vacuum former. But all of that after the riddle! Okay, in today's build, we start with our V16 blocks, and we want to do some special valve covers for it. And for that, this time I want to use my brand new vacuum former. So first I build it like you see here, a roebuck or a model out of styrene, and now I just want to make two identical duplicated from it. So first I heat up my vacuum former. So I put in some new styrene sheet. You see on both sides I have a little carton, so not the whole sheet will, you see that later, suck down. Then I put in my model, my roebuck that I made. And just push the hot styrene over it, and the vacuum will suck now exactly the form in the hot styrene. And there you have it, an exact duplicate from my buck. Now I just have to make another one. After those valve covers were made, I also built some other stuff, like I had to make some new headers and a few other things, but rather than that, that's all the part that we have for our motor. And now it's time to paint. And now it's simply a matter of putting all the things together. Like I mentioned in a other episode, I use this contact glue. You first put it on both sides and let it dry, and then as soon those two glue parts sides come together, it actually immediately sticks. I didn't want to have the motor look too brand new. I wanted to go with a more weathered look. That's why I already painted some rust on it. Of course, when the oil is built in, I will weather it some more. For the timing belt, I cut out from electrical tape, which I glued the two sticky sides together, so it's a little bit thicker. Cut out a thin stripe and used it as my timing belt. I wired all the 16 spark wires off camera. It was a lot of work, so I did it off camera. So after I mounted here the oil dipstick, and of course I also had to mount the fan on front, we were pretty much done. So like we had the air scoops on top, and I built some scratch a linkage between the throttle, but that's pretty much it. The frame that we had was not long enough, so we had to stretch it a little bit. We also scratch built some motor mounts and of course glued those on. So the front tires are actually vinyl or rubber, some of that kind, and they always come, when they come out of the package, they're way too shiny for me, so always sand them a little bit so they look a little bit more realistic, at least to me. Here we have all the parts that we actually need for the chassis, and of course first went with black. And I made here this little tool that you see. It's just an aluminum rod or pipe, and just squeezed in a sponge, so I get some randomness when I'm applying this brown rusty color. Also, I used some clear coat to mimic some of the gasoline maybe soaked into the gas tank bottom. Next step, I put some silver on a brush and was getting rid of the most of it, and I did some dry brushing as well. Rust is usually not just one color, but a variation of yellow, reds and brown. So I mixed a little bit more red and yellow together to get a little bit more variation, and I added that to the already brown spots. And here is the whole set after I was finished with weathering. Next part, also the last part for this episode, it's gonna assembly all the parts, and then we'll see next week where we're going from there. that's all what we have for this week for you guys. I hope you liked it. Next week we probably take care on the body and the interior, which is gonna be really interesting too, you will see. But that's all for now. Don't forget, love and friendship, something you can't buy. Respect all people. Keep that hobby alive. See you next Saturday, folks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.